Welcome back to ChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. Got a video today from the Financial Coffee Channel. We're getting closer and closer to that 100,000. Trying to get it by the end of the year. If not, it's okay, but at least it's a nice goal to have. And if you guys can help with that, I'd appreciate it. So let's get to that chow. It's chow time.
I was in major credit card debt, about $62,000 to my credit card.
Woo.
I was so living above my means. I was driving the cars that I couldn't afford. I was buying the things that I couldn't afford, and I would just put it on a credit card because I thought it was like free money.
I mean, I gotta say, credit card is somewhat free money. If you pay it off every month and just collect the points, it's actually truly free money. But obviously, a lot of people don't use it that way. So there goes their free money. Now they're in debt.
I was obviously spending way above my means. So when I got into $50,000 of debt, this was not like over a 1-2 year span. I don't know how the hell I was able to accumulate $50,000 of credit card debt.
Let's talk about how I got myself $47,000 worth of credit card debt while I get ready.
In June, I was in $55,000 worth of debt.
But honestly, living with credit card debt and living with a shopping addiction was so traumatic and so stressful. Even as my salary...
Because you cause your own trauma and causing your own stress because you have a shopping addiction and debt
increased as I progressed in my career, my debt also increased. So it's under $25,000. It's actually under $22,000. I haven't had this little debt. I know it's still a huge number, but I haven't had under $25,000.
This is little?
Dollars worth of credit card debt in like 10 years. Based on my calculations, I began this year with close to $48,000. So that basically removed any guilt that I had about not paying my debt off. I'm not able to. So then that got me thinking, well, what is my total debt actually? Because honestly, I don't really monitor it very closely anymore because it's so big.
Women keep the economy alive with their useless spending.
I'm gonna be so for real. I have accrued so much credit card debt from just struggling to make ends meet and then having some car problems, paying taxes that I haven't saved up enough over the last year because I live on my own and it's expensive. I've made budget cuts wherever I can. I bargain.
I mean, just look at this chick. The glasses, the wear, what she's wearing, everything. She looks fully made up. She looks high maintenance. Yeah, no wonder you're in debt.
Shop. I don't buy things I don't need. I canceled subscriptions to things that I can live without. So yeah, times are tough and there's...
Why not just move in with others so you don't have to be by yourself and paying everything 100% and being a strong, independent boss babe?
If there's anyone else out there that can relate to the situation or has maybe more advice, I'm open ears, so...
Hi, I'm Erin. I have about $11,000 in credit card debt alone, not including student loans.
Ooh.
And my minimum payment for that was $350.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm in $9,400 of credit card debt, and I cannot believe it's been a year since I started paying this debt down.
I'm a 26-year-old teacher. I have a lot of credit card debt. I've been ashamed of it for a really long time. I'm 26, I'm single, and I have credit card debt, and I'm going to work my butt off to not have to say that anymore.
Get ready with me while I explain how I ended up in $14,000 in credit card debt.
As of today, I am $8,107 in credit card debt, not including student loans, but we're going to ignore that for a little bit longer, and I do not like it. So
Yeah, I have $20,000 in credit card debt, but I'm glad that I was able to use that and get through what we needed to get through. That just totally blew my mind because I've been so down on myself for being almost 30 and having all this credit card debt, but it was useful for that time in my life.
This is the part of why you need to protect yourselves at all times, men. Women are broke, dusty, musty crusties. They got no money. They got no savings. They got massive amounts of debt. So if you get with them, especially if you get married to them, guess what, guys? That debt goes over to you. You have to pay that off, or you're still responsible for it too. Find a woman that is financially frugal.
These women are the gift that keeps on giving, and they make for some good entertainment.
It does.
All that credit card debt that they have, they got it by buying useless stuff and to impress other women. Women keep the economy alive with their useless spending. Guys, when you go out with your girl and people try to sell you something, they always talk to your girl and not to you.
Of course.
Do you know why? Salespeople know that women are easily manipulated and are very influenceable. And they also know that if they can convince your girl to buy whatever they are selling, you will go along with her just to please her and make her happy. Because men love unconditionally. Women don't. Let me say it one more time. Men love unconditionally, but women don't. That's why they have all those dating requirements for men, and they are always the first one to file for divorce. Us men, we are just happy to have a good-looking girl.
Let's make a debt payment together.
She doesn't even have to be good looking for a lot of guys. She's just a girl.
Towards my credit card debt. I started with about $30,000 in credit card debt. Right now I have like 24, 23, 25. I honestly haven't added it up. I should. I understand that I need to.
I paid up $27,000 of credit card debt in 9 months, but I'm still in debt. I think people haven't realized that I'm still in debt. I'm still paying off debt here. I have about $9,600 owed to student loans, and I have about $3,000. I wish it was $3,000. $34,000 on this beautiful car that I'm sitting in right now.
I guess while I'm releasing all this shame today, now would be a good time to admit that I'm $20,000 in credit card debt. Here's to digging myself out of $20,000 in debt as well as...
It is so hard to dig yourself out of five-figure debt, especially... It's not an easy task. You have to be making so much more money to pay it off in a fairly quick amount or a quick time to not incur too much interest. But even then, you're not going to be able to live normally. You're going to definitely have to live frugal to be able to pay those things off.
Giving up smoking and drinking. Join me for the ride. And lost all motivation that I had, all of the drive that I had, the creative abilities that I have, all to alcohol. And relying on my husband, but my husband's also silently suffering as well because he's had to pick up all of the slack.
Well, what can go wrong in her situation? Everything. Everything. Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So she has $20,000 in credit card debt. She smokes and she drinks a lot. According to her, she also lost her drive and her creativity, which means she's not working and is severely broke. I think she's an artist. Guys, as you know, most artists don't have a stable income. Not only that, but her husband has to pay all the bills by himself. I can see marital problems already. Now, judging by her body language and by her overall demeanor, she doesn't have her life together. Nope. She looks reckless. Which brings me back to Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. She will not pay back that $20,000 credit card debt.
I get asked literally all the time how the hell I was able to accumulate $50,000 of credit card debt in like a 6-year span. And let me be the first to say, like, preface this by, I know I did not make the wisest decisions back then. 18-year-old me, 22-year-old me, running around with a credit card. Like, I get it. I know. I don't need the hate. But I was very naive with the fact of, I know I was going to be making more money, right? I was 18 years old, got my first job as a dental assistant, making $28,000 a year. But I was obviously spending way above my means. So when I got into $50,000 of debt, this was not like over a 1-2 year span. No, it started off small. My very first credit card, the limit was only like $250, right? And then as you start using it, they start to give you more credit. Then as you start to get more credit, you're like, oh, this is cool. Let me get another card. Oh, this one's got a cash back card. Let me get another card. And the next thing I knew, I had like 4 credit cards. I had like a Victoria's Secret card. I had an Amazon card. Like I had all these cards, okay? And I kept telling myself, I know I'm going to be making more money. But what I did not realize is the more money I started to make, it didn't matter. That is when the big amounts of debt came in. I didn't have 50 grand of debt when I was 19, making $28,000 a year. I was buying things because I wanted to look a certain way. I wanted to fit in with a certain crowd.
Did I hear that right? $50,000 in credit card debt? 50? Ay, people. Ay. That is beyond crazy. That's why in some countries, women were not allowed to have a bank account up until only recently. I can see why. And of course,
they weren't
she wants to play the victim.
Debt.
Guys, every time they have to be held accountable for their mistakes, all of a sudden they become dumb. Oh, I was just a girl. Oh, I was was naive. They always follow the same script and they are experts in plausible deniability.
I was in major credit card debt, about $62,000 to my credit card. And this was when I was working 9 to 5. I was so living above my means. I was driving the cars that I couldn't afford. I was buying the things that I couldn't afford. And I would just put it on a credit card because I thought it was like free money. Absolutely no idea what it meant by budgeting, financial means, saving for the future. All of that just went out my head. And while I was in college, I was so confused. I was racking up all of these student loans debt. And I just thought, oh, future me can worry about it. This resulted me in depression, anxiety, and towards my 20s, I had to rebuild this entire life around money and heal my money traumas. I found myself that I dug a really big hole and I had no idea how to get out of it. So
get ready with me while I explain how I ended up in $14,000 in credit card debt. I was really struggling.
Again, it's just weird that they come out here telling about this. I get that there's kind of telling people, hey, don't get in debt like me, but it's just weird to still tell on yourself that, oh, I've just made horrible financial decisions most of my life when I became an adult. Look at me being stupid. Why do this?
With my own mental health, so I kind of just use shopping as like a dopamine hit, and I think a lot of people that struggle with like mental health issues understand where I'm coming from with that. So for me, it was just like this rush, and it was this fulfilling thing to try to like fill a void in my life that I was missing. While I am in no means proud of the position that I'm in financially, I also am so sick of feeling so ashamed of myself for where I'm at.
Everything is traumatic to these women. They all have depression, anxiety, and some kind of trauma. What's up with mental health these days? Now, I'm not saying that only women have mental health problems.
True.
So let's get that out of the way, okay? But over the last 5 years, I have noticed that more and more women have mental health problems, or they claim to have mental health problems.
That's where I would say they claim to have it. All of them are like proud of their mental health problem. Why? Because it gives them that victimhood mentality. That victimhood mentality is the number one end all be all for society nowadays. The more you can claim victimhood of how many oppressions that are on you, the better you are. This is it.
To be honest with you, it was not always the case. Which begs the following question. Could it be because life has become more difficult for women? Or is it because women are not simply equipped to handle any kind of stress?
Credit card debt is not fun, okay? I have so much money on my credit cards. They're all pretty much maxed out. I couldn't keep up with the payments, and I think almost all of them, my accounts are closed. That's not good, but I will tell you this. It's like going through a detox, because things that I would just be like, oh, I'll just put on a credit card. I can't do that anymore. Those accounts are closed. Those cards are gone. The only money I have comes from my paycheck. And that money goes towards necessities, which is the big thing that I've had to learn.
That's how it should have been.
Differentiate the needs from the wants. So while my friends get to go do fun things, I am having to pay off credit card debt. It has taught me to be content with what I already have.
Like I said, guys, I was stupid when I was younger too. I accrued quite a bit of debt, but I got taken care of. Now I know much better, right? I also didn't cry on the internet about, oh my God, woe is me. It was stressful, I do admit, but that's part of life. You make mistakes, you take accountability on the mistakes, you correct the mistakes, and hopefully future you is better off. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.